That Saturday night, the air felt heavy, you know? I'd spent all day trying to make the house perfect. I arranged the flowers, made my father's favorite roast, and even pulled out the fancy tablecloth my mom saves for special occasions. It had been so long since we'd all had dinner together, and I was desperate to feel that family warmth again, the kind that had been fading for months. When he finally arrived, tired and serious, I knew something was wrong. He didn't have that look anymore, the one that used to make me feel so proud and safe. He sat down, looked at the table I'd set with so much love, and let out this deep sigh. It was like every dish was just another problem he didn't want to face. I tried to make conversation, but his silence was louder and sharper than any angry word. My mom just pushed food around her plate, her eyes downcast, trying to avoid the storm I could feel brewing. I talked about work, about how I'd finally paid off the house, but it was like I was speaking to a wall. Suddenly, my father dropped his fork. He said he was tired, that things had changed, and that I was meddling too much in the house's responsibilities. Those words were a punch to the gut. For years, I was the one holding everything together, giving up my own dreams, staying up all night crunching numbers to keep us afloat. And now, the man I once admired so much could barely look at me without contempt. I swallowed the lump in my throat, not wanting to ruin the dinner. But I knew this was just the beginning. The next morning, I woke up to their voices in the kitchen. They were arguing. I pretended to be asleep, but my heart was pounding. Finally, I got up and walked down the hall. As I got closer, I heard my name. "She thinks she can run everything just because she helps with the bills," my father said, his voice freezing me in place. My mother tried to defend me. "She only wants what's best for us." But he just snapped back. "Best for us? That's pride. I don't need her to pay for anything here." That broke me. I walked into the kitchen, trying my best to look strong. "If that's how you feel, Father," I said, my voice trembling, "then maybe I'm in the wrong place." He turned, surprised, and then said the words that shattered my world. "You think paying the mortgage makes you loved? You're nothing but useless." Silence. My mother started crying softly. I took a deep breath, held back my own tears, and said, "Then I'll leave." I packed my bags with shaking hands. Every shirt, every photo, was a memory that felt like a knife twisting in my heart. As I zipped up my suitcase, I heard his chair move, but I didn't wait. I walked out that door without looking back, leaving behind the only home I'd ever known. My heart was in pieces, but a tiny flame inside me knew I had to start over, somewhere I didn't have to constantly prove my worth. The first few days were tough. I rented a small room from a kind widow who seemed to understand my pain without me saying a word. I threw myself into work, taking extra shifts, slowly piecing my life back together. At night, I'd stare at the ceiling and wonder if they missed me. The image of my mother crying haunted me, but I knew I couldn't go back yet. Then, one afternoon, I found an envelope under my door. It was my mother's handwriting. Inside was a letter and a small photo of me as a child, laughing in my father's arms. The letter was short. It said my father was sick, that he hadn't been sleeping since I left. He kept saying he was wrong but was too ashamed to call. "Please come talk to him," she wrote. "We love you." The tears I'd been holding back finally came. I knew what I had to do. When I arrived at the house, my mom opened the door and just hugged me, tears streaming down her face. In that embrace, I felt all the love that had been buried under the anger and pain. My father was in his chair, looking smaller, older. When he saw me, he tried to stand, but his emotions held him down. I sat beside him, and he looked at me, his eyes filled with regret. "I was a fool, daughter," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I let pride speak louder than love. You've always been my greatest pride." In that moment, all the hurt just melted away. We talked for hours, we laughed, and we cried together. It was as if life had hit a reset button, giving us a second chance. That night, lying in my old bed, I realized I wasn't the same person who had left. Sometimes, you have to walk away for love to find its way back, stronger and truer than before. And for the first time in a long, long time, I felt like I was finally home. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.